Next day, after Dhuhr, you're gonna start your stoning. Now the problem is now, Zubair was telling me, is that the Saudis allocate areas of Mina to go, so you don't have a choice when you throw. So I asked him today, I haven't got an answer back actually, is that because you shouldn't be throwing before Dhuhr, but it doesn't. There's no dumb if you do, according to him. Imam Abu Hanifa is the only one who's got this position, it seems. So there's a leeway there. Is that he says if you do throw before Dhuhr, it's not a dumb. It's okay. It's just makruh.
This is what I was listening to when I know Sheikh Noor had it years ago, but he used to wait for an hour after midnight, and then they used to do the stoning. Then he
these days.
Yeah, and then he used to walk back to Mecca, and he'd stay in Mecca till 4 o'clock the next day, and then he'd walk back to Mina.
Right.
So he didn't have to stay in Mina the night because of the crowds and the unhygienic toilets, etc. And he did that for 3 days, and he was just recommending to do all your movements at night when it's temperature's lower and the crowds are less as well, because getting back and forth from Mecca is very easy at that time.
You have to, but I didn't feel it was necessary, but people's circumstances are different. I would speak to your group.
So the stoning an hour after midnight in the Hanafi,
that's
that
fine.
Would be fine.
Stoning, the stoning is even before Dhuhr, it's valid, but it's highly recommended not to do that. But then you've got from Dhuhr all the way to Fajr.
But
it's makruh after Maghrib to do it, but as I said, you might not even have the choice because your groups might be told you've got to do it this time.
So but stick with the group.
As long as it's in the Shafi'i school, even if you delay it into the next day, there's no dam.
Okay.
Well, the others there are, I think. So but that's a dispensation there if you need to take that.
Yeah.
So.
I think that when those talks were recorded, the stoning situation wasn't safe.
Oh, it's very bad then.
Yeah, and there was a risk of death.
I mean, that was over 15 years ago.
Yeah,
maybe.
15 years.
Yeah, I did it 10 years ago, and honestly, there's no issue.
Okay.
So now it's not even an issue at all anymore. So you need to.
It's a one-way system now, isn't it?
Yeah, and now they didn't used to do this. They actually say they hold off the areas of Mina from doing it until others have done it. So it's really.
What I liked about it is that he did it after midnight, but then he went back to Mecca and stayed there and just rested and prayed in his hotel room, got his energy back up, and then did the stoning.
But for some people that might not work, because the walking might kill you.
Because that's tiring. But the walking there, but you can get a bus or a coach, whatever it is, back to Mecca, because he said that with his
maybe
group.
I don't. You have to. It's always best people who've been doing regularly just to get advice
and just go with the group then.
And assess your health. Think how tired you are. You might find. Mina's improved a lot now. Apparently. I mean, it was. I thought it was fine. I mean,
my in-laws went last year and they said it was absolutely fine. The toilets weren't bad and it wasn't really unhygienic.
Okay.
Yeah, so just assess the
situation. And it was very organised.
Yeah. So on that day before, on the 8th, when you get into Mina, just assess that you can do your little check in the toilets, open the door, with your rubber gloves on and your spray.
No, I don't think there's.
Chicken sauce. When you see
a
portion of that, it's a minimum amount, for example, that you have to sit.
Just one point, you'd be there for
No, not
stressed
stressed
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And is it like especially recommended to spend all your time in Mina? Is that more blessed than?
Yes, that's the best thing. The best thing is to go back to Mina, stay in Mina for all those days. Those days now are the day of celebration.
Okay.
It's recommended to eat from the meat you sacrifice, which is impossible because they will bring the meat, but it's not going to be the animal you got.
Yeah.
I don't recommend you go. Like apparently it's improved, but I actually went to slaughter for my father-in-law wanted me to do some korbanis there, and it was horrific. I mean, animals lying on top of one another. Well, I think it's improved now. Apparently they've got this conveyor belt system where they don't see one another. When I was there, it was gross. I mean, it made you vegetarians because you can imagine it. They've got to slaughter so many. How do you?
You can't mistreat the animals.
I know. It was. I'd hate to see what it was like about 25 years ago. But so I wouldn't go and see your own animal get slaughtered. It's pretty horrific. But they did say it has improved now. And so those days are days of celebration, eating meat and rejoicing.
That's on the 11th, so 11th till
11th, and then you've got this 11th to 12th, and then you've got and that's what you'll be making. That's why we're making the takbirs. So there's this connection, even though we're not if you think about it, we're not performing Hajj. We're fasting to be conscious of you guys there. That's one of the things, as if we are connected, and we are connected because you guys are making dua for us. And why are we making those takbirs? Because of this forgiveness. I like to see the forgiveness as imagine in the movies, you've got this thing come from the heavens, coming down, and it just basically has a ripple effect. So that forgiveness comes down at Arafat on the mountain plains, and then it basically has a ripple effect across the whole of the... So you're doing something that's incredibly significant for the whole of the rest of the world. So that's why those takbirs are being made all the way up to the 13th at the end of Asr. Asr being the first. So you're going to do 7 pillars at the 3 pillars from the zenith. We said that each time you 7 stones at the pillars, and then it's recommended after each pillar to turn and face Mecca, make dua for the first 2. Not the last one, but you have to assess the situation. It might be it might be a lot of crowds there, so you might not be able to turn. And if you were to turn and make dua, you might end up blocking people. So the Saudi guards might not even allow you to do that. So, but that's just a sunnah if it's
Say
feasible.
on the 12th day, like you're totally out of energy and you know you can't go back to Mina. Can you just go to Mina to do your pelting and then come back to Mecca and stay in your hotel there? Or
what day?
on the 12th of Dhul Hijjah.
Or 12th, you can go back and you don't have to do anything.
You don't have to stay there for the 13th.
No.
And what do people usually end up doing?
Most people go on the 12th. That's a question I'm going to address now, actually. So should I stay or should I? Should I stay or should I go? Or should I go? I actually prefer you stay. 13th. I spoke to Zubair actually for Dome Tours, and he says we usually stay. Now, the reason I say that is because we've done 11th, we've done 12th. The day you are going back, so if that's either the 12th or the 13th, it's permissible for you to go to do your stoning before Dhuhr. But the problem is that everyone's doing it at that time. So that's where the congestion really happens, and that's where all the accidents and the deaths still happen sometimes. So the stoning is not an issue. There's no deaths anymore. The one, I don't know what it's like now, but even a few years back, there's been incidents of people getting trampled there going through the tunnels. So I actually prefer you stay for the 13th because it means you relax in Mina, okay. And if you've got hotels in Shisha,
yeah.
then that makes it even easier for you guys because you can just relax. But people going back to Mecca, it's an issue. So what I did, me and Sarah, we stayed in for the extra day, and we were literally it was a ghost town. The only problem with it being a ghost town was there's lots of poor people going around the tents because people leave stuff there, so it's quite scary. So if you do decide to do that extra day, make sure you go into a tent where there's a loose group of people. But speak about it with your group and find out what's going on, and just assess that situation.
So stoning on the 13th is not compulsory?
No. Okay, it's a sunnah to do it, but it's not necessary. You assess your situation. Okay. And on the 13th day, you can do it before Dhuhr. Okay, it's perfectly permissible. The day you're leaving is permissible to do it before Dhuhr. Okay. The dilemma, as I said, is you can't take any suitcases through Jamarat. So that's why if you do go to on the days of Hajj, make sure you just got a small piece of luggage, like rucksack or something like that, because you can't take anything through. Okay. Any other questions about that?
Just to double check with the stoning check, so we don't try and hit the pillar, we just...
No, we're trying to get it in the hole.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like crazy golf.
Pillar.
Yeah, no, it's not the pillar.
Okay.
Okay, and then Tawaf. The Tawaf of farewell is you saying goodbye to the Kaaba. And it can be any tawaf. A mistake that people make with the tawaf and the departing tawaf is they think it's got to be your last tawaf. So a lot of these aunties basically say, "Oh, you did your tawaf wada, you can't go back to the Kaaba." They say it's a last act. They think it's a last act. That's not true. Even if you didn't make an intention for tawaf wada, as long as you did a tawaf after the Hajj, it's considered tawaf wada, and you can go back to the Kaaba anytime you want. So if a woman's on the menses at that point, she just basically stands outside the mosque and bids it farewell like that.
Okay.
Okay.